If Mario destroying a brick is vandalism, does that also mean if he hits a coin, he stole whatever is in there?
Who created the golden box? I mean, whose
Nintendo
coin?
God?
Whose coin is it initially? That's actually something I hadn't considered before this very minute.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Doug Defends. If you're new here for the first time, extra welcome to you. We're glad you're here. This is the show where a real attorney talks about very fake things, especially today of all days. I'm your host, Billy Business, and this is our real criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, Doug Ridley.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about today for a lot of reasons. I mean,
if nothing else, I grabbed you out of court to talk about very important things.
You did. I was in a business meeting this morning where I talked about, handling these 7 cases that I had yesterday and getting a client out of jail and whatever. And then what do you got going on today? I'm like, going to go talk about the crimes of Mario.
It's me, Doug Ridley.
It is. It's Doug, I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
So we are talking 2023's Super Mario Brothers movie because as of this recording this weekend, Super Mario Galaxy, the sequel, comes out, which you can go check out in theaters now. Unless you're watching this like 2 years later, don't go to the theater. You'll look like a dork. It's not playing anymore.
I kind of like that scenario, though, of somebody watching this 2 years from now going in and saying, I saw on the YouTube that Super Mario Galaxy was playing this weekend. I'd like 2 tickets, please.
They're like, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You could probably just rent it now on Amazon. So this is not to be confused with, I think it was 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, man, yeah.
Which was banana pants.
Yeah, that was a different movie.
That was a very different movie. But now in hindsight, now that I've watched them both, it's so peculiar that it's like, that's kind of cool. I kind of want to see that. What a weird take on that movie. But for a long time, that was it. I mean, they had the cartoon show, the Super Mario cartoon with Captain Lou Albano as the live action Mario for interstitials, but there was no movie after that. I think it was good 30 years before they even tried again.
Well, and I was glad that Illumination got it because I love the Minions movies. I love Despicable Me. I love that level of humor. It just cracks me up. And so in fact, like I think the text ringtone still for my twins is the Minions like giggling, buttocks or whatever it is and just laughing. But they brought a cool, fun take on Mario and Chris Pratt being interesting choice, but I forget it's him pretty quickly.
Yeah, maybe less so for me, but I remember. Charlie Day is another one. I guess that's what turned me off from seeing this initially was I don't dislike Chris Pratt, but I was also in the camp of like, really? That? Okay. Cannot stand Charlie Day. Like in anything.
Oh, wow.
So it took me a while to come around on that. But I finally watched it. I watched it for this show. I hadn't seen it before. And it's charming. It's cute. It's probably what they should have done the first time around instead of the weird fever dream of John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper, just like, what? You're making this up. I'm not making it up. If you're of a certain age and haven't watched it, go at least look up pictures of that Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
It's bizarro. But it seems like, since a lot of this stuff is yours, that you're a Mario fan.
I am a Mario fan. I'm a Mario fan all the way back. And there's a little Easter egg at the start of this where it is the original voice actor for Mario who's playing Jumpman, which is Donkey Kong, which was the first time this character existed was in the Donkey Kong arcade game,
Right.
and was not given the name Mario at all. Was given the name Jumpman. So the fact that they had like a Jumpman stand-up arcade machine that was Donkey Kong cracked me up, and that's where I go back to. I played Donkey Kong with quarters in the arcade back in the olden times when I had hair. So, and
Can't even picture it.
I know.
Weirder than John Leguizamo
I
as
know.
Luigi.
But I had a Nintendo. I still have a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Sure.
And had the joint cartridge of Super Mario and Duck Hunt.
Oh, I remember Duck Hunt.
Yeah, with the little jerk dog that comes up and laughs at you every time you miss. But and going all the way through, I remember when Nintendo 64 came out and they did Super Mario World on that.
Yeah.
And you could actually walk through Mario's world in 3D.
Right.
That was the coolest darn thing ever.
Right.
And all of the games. I haven't played every single Mario game, but the ones that I have here, I mean, my family will get together and play Mario Party.
Sure. Yeah.
Because everybody, I mean, everybody, it's like playing family game night. It's like playing board game, I was never really into Smash Brothers really so much. Like that wasn't my jam. But Super Mario Galaxy is a great game. And so I'm excited, I'm going to watch it.
Hopefully when it's out, not 2 years from now.
No,
yeah.
I will have watched it probably. Well, I don't know if I'll have watched it by the time this show comes out, but I'll be watching it right away.
Yeah, I think for me, like, that's the cool thing about Mario, right? Is like, it's not just a side scroller. It seems like there's a buffet of Mario things and you can choose the bits you like.
Yeah.
You're not into Smash Brothers, but, maybe you're really into like Super Mario Brothers 2 on SNES. Or I always like when Mario would pick up another profession just for one game, like Dr. Mario. Or like he's like a tennis guy in another one.
Yeah.
Just like, all right.
And I love also that Universal has acquired that and put it into some theme parks.
Sure.
So, that's why I've got my awesome Mario Kart popcorn bucket.
That's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, it's
I don't know what
it's
you're supposed to
it's
do
the
with it,
glide.
but-
Yeah, it's a popcorn bucket, and there's not a lot of room for popcorn in it. But they got me to buy it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, that's most popcorn buckets now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you practically eat out of them.
right.
But Doug, we're not a popcorn bucket review show. As
Perfect.
much as I actually think we should be.
We might need to do a popcorn
I
bucket
think-
episode.
I think we just launch a Patreon of like popcorn bucket talk.
I love it.
Submit your favorite ideal fantasy. Well, we're not that. Not
We're not
today,
that.
at least.
Not today. Not yet.
We're a legal show.
Yes.
And this one is difficult because we talk about a lot of things that just like couldn't happen,
Yeah.
can't happen. But we are pretty good about finding some avenues of like, okay, well, I know this is Star Wars, but if we applied this law to it, like we can have a conversation. We're going to try. We're really going to try.
Well, the one thing that this movie did in an interesting way, and I think it's kind of inspired by the Super Mario Odyssey game, where there is a level that is supposed to be kind of a more real world level that takes place in our universe. So the fact that they start in Brooklyn, the fact that they end in Brooklyn, sorry for the spoilers. By the way, if you're not wanting this movie from 3 years ago to get spoiled for you, then go watch it first, because we're gonna talk about the end. But that at least allows us to insert some of our real world legal knowledge that we do.
Sure. Yeah.
To giant spiked turtles.
We're going to try.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Okay. So I think everyone knows the general lore of Super Mario, and it gets, retold, twisted all certain ways, but it always boils down to at its bare minimum, which is Bowser's bad guy, Peach good guy. He wants to ensnare her, enslave her in some sort
Yep.
of new castle every time, or
Yep.
whatever it may be. And for reasons I still don't quite know, we have entrusted 2 plumbers to... I'll go back to Donkey Kong. Why a plumber? That makes no sense. Shouldn't it be at a minimum some sort of construction worker?
Yeah. Why not a carpenter?
Yeah, anything.
Right.
That makes more sense.
I mean,
can build something,
especially
to
with
get
the
up.
hammers.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I've had many plumbers to my house since we've moved in
Right.
for lots of different
Right.
things. I don't think I've ever seen one hanging just with a hammer.
Well, are they fighting, spiked turtles?
I mean, if there are, that was not disclosed in my home inspection, Okay, so Bowser's always going after the princess, the brothers, and a cast of other characters. There's Yoshi, who's going to be introduced in the new film. Their friend Toad, which took me a while to realize that was Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah. Well, and he's a toad, except he's just a little talking mushroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first, let's just get to Bowser.
Okay.
And we're talking about his motivation specifically for this movie. 'Cause
All right.
I couldn't tell you whether or not that's his motivation every time.
I know we are not a voice actor analysis show because we
Sure.
are a legal show.
Okay.
But what was your take on having Jack Black be Bowser?
This is fine. Like I was, I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
Tonally, I was like, I get it. That fits. This Bowser is a little bit like sensitive, but metal, like 80s hair metal ballad is how I would say that's his personality.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Jack Black fits more than like Chris Pratt fits.
Right.
Well,
and I think Jack Black must write it into his contracts that he has to sing in every single thing that he is in.
I'm not half convinced that Peaches song, by the way, wasn't just him messing around like on a break or something, and then they put it in the movie.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so Bowser really wants Peach.
Yeah, he sees her and somehow immediately falls in love and wants to marry her.
And again, I have kids, so I watched this in like 4 or 5 chunks.
Okay.
I got the impression this was something that he's been wanting for a very long time, not necessarily like...
Yeah. I mean, he gets the star.
Yeah.
Right? And then because he has the star, now he's all powerful. So then he decides to go to Peach. Not clear to me whether that was like a festering,
Such an awful word for romance.
I know.
I have such a festering crush on you. You're like,
But,
that sounds like an
if
open
Bowser
wound."
has a crush, it's a festering crush. I stand by my adjective there. But is it an adjective? Yeah, it's an adjective.
It's
All right.
describing his type
His
of
crush, his love, festering love.
Festers.
That's gonna be the title of his next album. Festering love.
Sounds like a Meatloaf album.
Yes.
Okay, so from the behavior that you saw up until the point where he actually like kidnaps her, right? Like just before then, stalking charges.
Well, it doesn't. I gotta believe it must have. I gotta believe we must have had off-camera stalking. I mean, if he had been interested in her for a long time, so much so that he wanted to go steal the star from the little penguins, right? Then, yeah. I don't know if it's stalking.
Okay, so taking it back to us here.
Yeah.
At what point can you be, I have a crush on this person, I have pictures of them in my house that maybe they don't know about. At what point is it...
Got a murder board up on the wall. Some strings attached, tracking their
hypothetical
movements.
me never said that I had a murder board, but hypothetical me, I mean, at what point is it a difference between like, okay, put it this way. You walk into my house and I have pictures all over my walls of you, and they're not necessarily photos I asked you to take. I just took them.
Right.
I look to see where you're going all the time. I know your schedule. I'm not doing anything. I just know all this.
Right.
How is that different from someone who is obsessed with BTS and has pictures of them on their wall and goes on Twitter to see where their plane is right now.
Well,
you know?
I'm kind of bigger now than BTS, so I get it. I mean, I can put myself in that position. I'm not. I'm joking, of course. Maybe mostly, but the difference comes in when the person starts feeling endangered in some way. Okay. So that's kind of the first part of it, right? They're starting to feel like it's a level of harassment or something like that. Now, in your example, where it's just your, altar to Doug in your, in the side room.
I do have like a golden calf statue of you.
Yeah.
I'm sure if God came down, he would smite me for the golden idol that I keep in my office now.
Potentially. Well, it depends on if you're worshiping it, then for sure.
I can explain. Just let me explain it for a second.
It's for a show. Yeah. It's for a show. It's for a show. We can show you the YouTube. You can show you the YouTube. We are so far afoot. So, going back to stalking.
Yes.
It becomes stalking when someone is feeling harassed or threatened or something along those lines.
Okay.
And then in my world, it becomes a matter of them needing to prove that there was some sort of intent in that area, So it's not just that you are obsessed with a person. So Bowser being obsessed with Peach, Billy being obsessed with Doug, like those sorts of things in and of themselves, not really a big deal.
Okay.
I would say, moving your lava castle, right on top of her castle.
Sure.
That would probably qualify as harassment,
I mean, I feel like at that point it's like different charges. Like you're almost forgetting about the harassment at that point.
At that point you probably are. But we get people who call us with these sorts of legal questions where they feel harassed, where they feel stalked online, mm-hmm. where every time they turn around, that person is there at the grocery store or whatever, and once it gets to the level that we can articulate harassment, and that's it's fuzzy. It's really, really gray. It's there's not a bright line test unless there's a threat involved.
I mean, it's kind of like our Beetlejuice thing where I was like, is it legal to be annoying? But I guess to me, the difference is like in the scenario I threw out before with Beetlejuice, it was like getting in someone's face being, you suck, you suck, you suck. Mm-hmm. And it's, but with
which I will remind our viewers, I advise you not to do.
Yes, you said
I said that's a bad idea.
Well, you said you could do it once.
Yeah.
But with this, it's like I'm sure there are people who are obsessive about BTS or whoever it may be and do these things.
Oh, for sure.
But just the person that they're worshiping has no idea and probably never will. Yeah. And it's like they get away, I don't know, getting away with it.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, they can just be a super fan of whatever it is. And
a weirdo.
Yes. You can be a weirdo.
It's legal to be a weirdo.
It is legal to be a weirdo. It can be illegal to be a weirdo as well if you do weirdo things.
So weirdo things is exactly what Bowser ends up doing. Because he does, as you said, kind of hover over her castle, mount her castle, and then basically take, like, I don't know, she does say, fine, I'll marry you, but it's out of pure coercion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, and that, I mean, maybe not directly, but I'm sure you've seen something like that where someone has had to enter in like a marriage or some sort of a legal agreement under duress.
Yeah, it's like a shotgun wedding. Yeah. I mean, right? I mean, because she, at that point, when he finally does propose to her, he has a bunch of her friends hanging over a lava pit. Right. So yeah, I mean, very, very similar to the shotgun wedding kind of a thing. While I don't do family law, if let's say that there was an actual, and by shotgun wedding, folks, I'm just talking about like old timey, dad says you're going to marry my daughter because you were inappropriate with her or whatever, and
I love Appalachian Doug.
Yeah, Appalachian Doug. We should get shirts of that.
Oh boy, that'll be a hot seller.
Missing some teeth. And if someone enters into a legal agreement under a threat,
right,
or under threat of others, then that legal agreement's not valid.
How do you
period.
prove that though?
You prove that by all of those poor people or their corpses that are burned alive, underneath Bowser Mountain.
Okay, maybe taking it back a little bit realistically.
Yes.
How could you prove? Well, I made this decision under duress. It feels like that would be something you said either if you had buyer's remorse or anything,
Well, we have that in our courts all the time. So when someone accepts responsibility for a crime that they've committed, they end up having to waive their constitutional right to a full-blown jury trial like you see on TV and movies.
Right.
And so we have a 18-page document that we use to advise them of every single one of their rights, and so they know exactly what kind of an agreement that they're getting into.
Okay.
And then after they write all of that saying, I'm doing this freely and voluntarily, then they go into open court and the judge asks them more questions about whether it's free and voluntary. I bring that up because we put so much effort into making sure that folks understand their legal rights before they enter into an agreement. And the reason for that is because lawyers historically have unwound contracts and agreements by saying it was under duress or by saying I didn't understand paragraph 27 or whatever it is. So proving that it was that like a marriage was under duress, you just have to have some sort of witnesses who could say, yeah, I saw Pa Kettle over there with a shotgun and he was looking menacingly at, my brother, telling him he better marry Jane. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why she's Jane. I know why he's Pa Kettle, but I don't know why she's Jane.
Pa Kettle sounds like a great popcorn company, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like once you could prove that for Peach, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to prove, but I don't know who the High Court of the Mushroom Kingdom is to even litigate this. But
I don't know.
That would once you prove, okay, if that was under duress, then I guess you were also kidnapped at that point, right?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it unlocks another charge.
It for sure it does.
Okay.
I mean, Bowser scooping up Peach and kidnapping her constitutes kidnapping for sure. 100%.
And it's not the only time in the movie, obviously, that Bowser is going to aggressively kind of conquer, I guess, in a way. I mean, we start the movie with like this quasi-military campaign of him stealing those, the superstar. But that seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm looking at this with too much of like a real world lens, but I'm just like, okay, well, what's the difference between our country going to another country and we take something?
Like a person.
Like a person. I have no specific instance in mind that I'm thinking of.
No.
And it's, kind of like, at least for a lot of us here, it's like, well, that's different. That's war. But the other one, he's just kidnapping someone. I'm like, but is it?
Yeah, I mean, Bowser arguably is an independent kingdom of Bowser land or whatever it's called in the lore. Peach is the princess of Mushroom Kingdom,
right?
And Bowser decides to take her.
I mean,
some people would argue that that's kidnapping.
Yes, they should.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I assume the Penguins are a sovereign state.
Yes. And then, and so what's fun about that is, do we use a legal analysis where this is some sort of theft of the star? Mm-hmm. Do we argue that it's a theft by force of the star, which turns it into a robbery? Or do we use an Indiana Jones analysis of he's just retrieving artifacts that are rightfully his out of another country?
Do we know who the superstar actually belongs
I
to?
I don't know. This is the first time that we've seen him. I'm not aware of a game or lore or anything like that actually. Yeah, please, all of the things, because I'm curious. But it's either just a theft, or it's robbery, or it's the Indiana Jones exception to reclaiming artifacts.
Well, I'm gonna guess that's what he would call it.
Yes.
But I mean, like, you can't even really prosecute that, right?
The world that we live in right now does not.
As of today.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and then there's the whole idea of, he moved his land island floating lava tank thing.
Yeah.
And then burnt their castle down and invaded the other country. So, I mean, it's not just a matter of taking the star or a matter of taking Peach. It's a matter of potentially the crossing into their lines. It's clear from the little tiny angry penguins that they believed that they were being invaded and that they were prepared, to throw unlimited snowballs at him. Yeah, it's really they're ready for war.
It's really hard because when you think back at that scene, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then when you parallel it to something may or may not be happening right now in our real world, it's like patently not ridiculous.
Right.
It's just like,
well, it's ridiculous because that would never happen in the real world until it does. Yeah.
Super Mario.
Let's talk
about Mario.
Mario, pipes, plumbers.
So, would you consider Mario, from the time that he gets to the Mushroom Kingdom, like through those pipes, I don't know if they're hidden or just no one's been down there in the Brooklyn sewer. Which, by the way, I love that, like, there's this huge thing on the news about, like, the biggest flood leak ever, and he's the only plumber that thought to just turn the damn thing off.
Yeah, I mean, because
no one else would.
Because he's the best.
He is the best. I guess that's all you have to do is just like turn it off and turn it back on.
I love
again.
His whole family. Like, you just said, turn it off and turn it back on again.
Yep.
I love also that his family is just mercilessly roasting him for his bad accent in the television.
That was the best part of the movie for me. Not only the roasting the accent, but also just like, you can't do this. I don't believe in you. I was like, I don't know why, but this is hilarious to me. Like, this feels the most authentic in this whole movie's gonna get. But from the time he shows up, I mean, this movie moves really fast.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a whole lot of, they know their audience. There's not a whole lot of like philosophical pondering or like rejecting the hero's call. It's literally like, let's go.
Yeah.
So he starts training with Peach.
The training
quickly.
Montage.
I mean, that was awesome, though.
Yeah,
like by the time when he gets it,
I loved all of that sequence because as people that have played the video game, we've been there and we've been knocked off the thing like 25 times until we finally passed the level. So it was one of the more true game parallel moments of the movie for me. But
would you consider him? I don't know. What do you consider him at that point? Like, are we talking like, Dances with Wolves, where he's now kind of like, repatriated over to being a mushroom person? Is he a vigilante? Because really, that's the thing. It's like, it's tough because we don't know the rules and the laws of the Mushroom Kingdom. So.
I mean, we know that Princess Peach seems to be revered as the sovereign, right? Okay, right. So we know that much. We know that Princess Peach brings him in for training.
Right.
So if the sovereign of a nation says, "Come on in and train, and if you can pass all these tests, then I'll help you find your brother, and we'll go on a quest together," and arguably, then he's authorized by the Mushroom Kingdom through Peach. So is he like a mushroom agent at that point?
Well, okay, let's shift this. Let's use Australia because everyone likes Australia.
Okay, yes.
I like Australia.
I love Australia.
Somehow I end up in Australia.
Okay.
Right? And I still have my American citizenship.
Right.
I'm in Australia.
Right.
And that exact scenario happens.
Okay.
I don't know what they have, president, prime minister,
Something. Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
The high supreme ruler of
Right.
Australia,
The king of Australia.
Yeah, says I will.
There's no king, I know.
He says I will bring you into my army, and you can have my resources to help with the thing that you need help with if you pass my army's test, which is essentially what Mario does.
Yeah.
And now I have been accepted into the Australian army. Is that like treason on my part since I'm an American citizen and I'm now openly involved with another country's armed services?
I don't think it's treason. Not yet, anyway. I think that Mario is allowed to be a helper, a good Samaritan person in another land, in another country. Mm-hmm. What changes it, like you pointed out, is the level of that country's sovereign that authorizes his activity. So that does change things, a little bit, but I don't think it goes into traitor category yet. I think, and I say yet, just under the laws as we are, in 2026, because right now it's still lawful to get passports from another country and have dual passports. Dual citizenship is still allowed. There's talk about it not being allowed, but my social media feed's full of stuff on become an Irish citizen, and it's every other post, for me at this point. So I don't think that would be classified as treason. Also, because he's not doing anything to harm his home country, right? And so at that point, right, he's on vacation and he's being recruited, and that's about it. He's on a side quest. Yeah,
because I was gonna say he does go on like, you could call them military operations, going to the Kongs and fighting a Kong. Like that's not something that you just do recreationally.
And then he ends up arguably joining the Kong army on top of that. I mean, right. I don't think I was prepared for the entire Kong army to be on Mario Karts.
Yes, I was surprised. I was like, I liked the little cameo of like Diddy and what's her name, the girl one too. His name I can't remember.
That is actually the part of the Mario lore that I'm not as familiar with. I did not play Donkey Kong Country or those sorts of games. Yeah. I didn't actually even get all that excited or interested in that. We went to Universal in Japan, and they have a Donkey Kong Country there and a ride and whatever. So
I played one of the Diddy Kong ones on SNES. So like I knew the imagery.
Right.
But either way, neither here nor there. So yeah, he's part of like two different armies.
Right.
I just feel like it's tough because the key difference, besides talking Donkey Kongs and everything, is that the scenarios that I'm thinking of, I'm still in our world, meaning my home country of America would still be within earshot of everything I'm doing.
Right.
Whereas Mario is somewhere, I don't even if this was a huge international problem, I don't even know if anyone back in Brooklyn would ever know about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the only time that it crosses back over and he could potentially be in trouble in his home country would be when would be the climax of the movie, which we'll get to in a little bit.
But he also he destroys a lot, whether he means to or not. Like Mario destroys a lot of stuff. That whole sequence at the Rainbow Road, is because now not only are you on a mission for a country you don't belong to, but now you're also like destroying. I don't know if Rainbow Road's public or not, but
right. Well, I mean, I'm working a case right now with defending a kid that kicked a garage door. So, like dented the garage door. It's vandalism.
I mean,
so if you think about every single one of the bricks is every single one of those vandalism? I mean, it very well could be.
Wait a minute.
Why not?
If that's the case, if Mario destroying a brick is vandalism, does that also mean if he hits a coin, he stole whatever is in there?
Well, he's on a quest to go find them.
But no,
who created the golden box? I mean, whose
Nintendo
coin?
God?
Whose coin is it initially? So I mean, that's actually something I hadn't considered before this very minute. Which is Mario stealing all of the coins and the things that he collects from all of these different lands and worlds?
Yeah, I don't.
And then is every one of the bricks destruction and vandalism?
I mean, I would argue if you're hitting a coin or you're hitting a question mark and you take what's there, yeah, you are taking something that does not belong to you.
It belongs to somebody.
Yeah, but then we're going all the way back to finders keepers.
Right.
So then everyone should be able to have fireballs, which would just be like, how come Toad isn't going around smashing his head against any bricks or anything?
Well, it would be all cushy.
Are you saying he couldn't actually break a brick
I don't
with
know.
his head?
No, because you can play some of these games as Toad. So I think if you're Super Toad, you can break bricks with your head, but I have a hard time with that because it's all squishy.
Your Honor, it couldn't have been Toad.
Right, because
His
he's
head's
squishy.
too squishy.
It's too squishy.
No, I don't buy that.
That mushroom cap would just crumble.
But I do think that there is something interesting. It's like, okay, well, what do you do with all those coins then?
Yeah.
You can't go spend them if,
Right.
If you have to launder them first.
Right. You have to launder them through the Mario Pocket system or whatever, I mean, he's not carrying around 100 coins to get an extra life.
No, but I would assume also that like there's more than just coins. There's power ups. So if he's taking fireballs, well, now you've just equipped yourself with a potentially deadly weapon. If I walked around with a flamethrower, I'd be in trouble, I would assume.
Yeah, I haven't researched lately the laws on flamethrowers. Remember when Elon tried to sell flamethrowers?
I try not to remember anything Elon does if I can help it. So.
I really wanted the flamethrower. I think that'd be awesome.
I mean, there's not enough flamethrowers in movies as it is.
I know.
I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the best use of a flamethrower I've seen in a film.
Well, and it goes back. Think about how much popcorn you can make if we had flamthrowers.
That's not where my mind would go if I had a flamethrower, but sure. Sweet little summer child dog. I can make so much popcorn. Okay, let's talk about the Rainbow Road chase.
Yes.
I kind of just want to talk about Mario Kart in general.
Yeah.
Like even outside of the movie.
Yes, because we've talked about some high-speed chases before on the show.
We have. So what would happen if I was... Like, is there an extra charge if I'm in a chase, right?
Yeah.
I'm already breaking the law.
Right.
I already know.
You're speeding.
I'm speeding.
Reckless driving.
Reckless driving.
Yep.
So we already know those two just go hand in hand.
Right.
Now what happens if I'm just like, oh man, they're on my tail. Give me that banana. And I throw a banana peel out my window.
Right.
And they hit it and spin out.
If you threw something from your car and...
Doesn't matter what it is?
Doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
And it caused someone behind you to spin out and crash, you'd be responsible for it.
For whatever injuries they have?
Yeah.
Potential death?
I actually am working a case right now where something fell off a vehicle.
Okay.
That caused a chain reaction automobile accident where someone died.
Now, I don't know the specifics of any of the cases you ever bring up, but I'm going to assume that they didn't...
It wasn't a banana peel.
It wasn't a red shell that they were trying to get people out of the way.
No, because I mean, red shells are intentional.
Right.
Green shells, not as intentional.
Green shells are the Joker of Mario Kart, where it's just like, I just want to watch the world burn because this guy could hit me too. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been hit by green shells more times
I've been
than I
hit
can
by
count.
my own green shells
for sure.
more time than I can count.
Yes. So, I mean, if we think about now in Mario Kart, the idea is that you're in some sort of like a sanctioned race.
Sure.
Right? So, I mean, there's participation involved. There's battle involved. There's consent involved. There's a lot of different things involved with a Mario Kart race.
The only thing I'm going to push back on, I can't remember. It might have been the one on Wii.
Yeah.
But you are literally driving, like the course is in the middle of traffic. So I'm going to say.
The one that's in the middle of traffic, I would agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah, that one for sure. A lot of the other ones are not in the middle of the traffic. You know, I mean, they might be through the countryside. They might be through the jungle. They might
caves. And
right,
all that.
right.
Yeah.
So, but it certainly seems like you've got some sort of a sanctioned race.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume that if you've got a sanctioned race, then you've got similar to wrestling, similar to other sorts of things where there's a fighting element involved. Battle bots, I'm just trying to think of like all of those fun things, right? Could we have a Mario Kart race like a Grand Prix, like a F1, like a NASCAR? Yeah, I mean, I think we could. The challenge would be, how do you make it so that nobody actually dies in it? But if I mean, we used to have way back in the olden times, right? Like what did they call the crash rallies? Like, where people would crash
like
cars
the
into each other, monster truck things.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about everything in that genre of racing. In this movie, it's not that, right? I mean, in this movie, it is they take the Rainbow Road. They are traveling from Kong to Bowser, and so this is not designed to be a race or a sanctioned thing. So I think then it is just straight out road rage, people fighting each other.
Sure. No, this one is more of a Mad Max scenario than trying to win the Gold Cup.
Perfect example. Yeah.
But you have to wonder because there is some destruction to the Rainbow Road. I think it's one of like the Bowser's guys like destroys literally like a piece that Mario and Kong fall down eventually. Right. But is there any liability? I've always thought this when playing Rainbow Road. I'm like, who would design such a track where there are no guardrails?
Right.
So is the I don't know, the city or whoever
liable?
So
let's say that Rainbow Road was the 405 freeway in Los Angeles, with no guardrails, with in the air, with bridges that go over. I mean, I've been driving a long time. I get nervous every time I go over one of those super high bridges just because I mean, if somebody bumped me, that K-rail is not going to stop me. I'm going right through there, and I have
that's
nightmares
a picture
about
wrap
that.
for Doug Ridley.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we do know in the real world that cities, governments, states, federal that design roads end up having liability if they design it in a way that there are accidents. So yeah, the designer of Rainbow Road, unless it's the Rainbow Road specifically designed to present a challenging race, if there's Rainbow Road just in the wild, like we had in this movie, the designer of Rainbow Road is toast.
Yeah, you're taking them to court.
Oh yeah, no, we're suing them for design flaws and highway malfunctions and all of those sorts of things. But going back to your point though, the destruction of a portion of road, that was done by kind of a terrorist act, right? Sure. A willful act.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So I'm thinking of natural freeway overpasses that we have. If all of a sudden somebody took a wrecking ball and took it through a bridge, you wouldn't necessarily blame the city because some rando, did a wrecking ball through a freeway overpass.
Sure.
So the person with the wrecking ball is the person who's liable for that. Unless it was a little wrecking ball and the city should have made a stronger bridge that should have been able to withstand a smaller wrecking ball.
How do you determine legally what's the right size?
This is why I don't do freeway construction litigation. It's because of this exact question.
And railroads are the two you really need to brush up on.
Exactly. Back to the Future episode. But to answer your question, there are experts. There are structural engineers. There are people that their whole world is what does a freeway overpass need to have in order to be safe enough for meeting our standards.
That's my wife's father. He was a structural engineer. So when we got our pool done, he was there to be like, nope, that's not how the rebar is supposed to be crossed.
Right. And if they had installed the rebar incorrectly and then there had been some sort of a damage or an injury or something along those lines, then you'd hold that company responsible. So if Rainbow Road wasn't constructed properly, and that's the reason why it crashed, then the person who made Rainbow Road and owned Rainbow Road and whatever would be sued, would be the people liable. We went in an area that I wasn't expecting on this one.
Oh, well.
I like this.
Got to go somewhere. So we were talking about Mario Kart, the concept, as a sporting event.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, we touched on it briefly, but let's talk about Donkey Kong versus Mario, where he had to get the Kongs basically to be on their side to help.
Yeah.
Now they're in an arena.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider this a foreign assault, or would you consider this a fairly sanctioned sporting event?
I think this is a sanctioned sporting event.
Okay.
I think this is no holds barred MMA with or WWE with props around to be, there's a folding chair over here, there's a baseball bat with nails over there, whatever the hell they do in WWE. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they've ever actually done baseball bat with nails.
Oh, they've done baseball bat with barbed wire.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
I was just trying to find an example that was so ridiculous that you would say, no, they wouldn't even do that in WWE.
No, they've set the ring on fire and had people wrestle in like death matches. No, I'm sorry. It's been done.
So having said that, I think that the Mario versus Donkey Kong battle is that. There is a question as to the willingness, right? But in this, it's very clear that Mario's doing it because he wants to impress Peach and also wants to help Peach enlist the Kong army.
Sure.
So I think this is just straight out gladiator games, and that's what it is.
Then let me ask you this. If I wanted to go out right now and have an MMA fight in your parking lot, and there's 20 people surrounding us wanting to watch it, right? Mm-hmm. I'd probably get arrested, right?
Yeah.
No, but how come... I guess the point I'm trying to make is, like, if you agree to it,
right,
and I agree to it, then how is that any different than what happened here? What makes something a sporting event versus you're going to jail even though we wanted to do it?
Well, it's becoming a theme for the episode, but I think popcorn is the key. If you've got people there eating popcorn, then it's a spectator sport. This is actually a legal question that I don't know the answer to, because I don't know how we decide that we want to have an amateur fight out back and potentially even sell tickets.
Sure. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, I think, on the wrestling episode, or maybe another episode where it's just like, if someone hits you, you press charges. That's assault, right? But if you and I decide we are going to hit each other, we've already established that we're both okay with it. We both just want to do it out of sport. Why should we be arrested?
Right. And what's the difference between that? Let's take it away from Gladiator, right? Or this big huge stadium, sort of a situation. What's the difference between that and my son going to a boxing gym and sparring with someone?
Sure.
Right? Or me taking martial arts classes and sparring with someone. There's not that big of a difference, except there's probably some fine print that the people that have engaged in boxing gyms and martial arts training are signing. You agree you're going to get hit in the face as hard as they can.
What if you and I wrote up something?
Then,
like, is there any way we could go to a cop and just be like, we're going to fight. Here's our contract.
Yeah.
Where we said, this is how we want to settle things. And we just need you to stay out of it. Or would they be like, no way, dude?
See, and my knee-jerk reaction is no way, dude.
Yeah.
But my legal reaction is a little slower, and I think we could probably write a contract that's good enough that it would be all right.
You want to meet me in the parking lot in 10?
I wouldn't. Not really. No, I don't really want to consent to that.
I just think it's interesting because, we haven't done a lot of these movies, but it comes up more than you think. Like the whole basis of the movie Fight Club.
I was just about to say, because there were people that have already suggested Fight Club to us as a feature episode. I actually have never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I see Fight Club, it'll be for the show. It'll be for the first time.
And you don't know any spoilers?
No.
Oh, I envy you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Envy you big time.
Yeah. So we'll end up doing that at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure how we could legally sanction a consensual fight.
Let's put a pin in this.
Yeah.
For when we do Fight Club.
Yeah.
Because by that time, that might change your opinion.
Well, and then we might need to come back in the middle of our Fight Club episode and reference the Donkey Kong Mario fight, the gladiator ring, just to calm us down from the discussion of Fight Club.
I'm sure too, like if this was Mario versus Kong WWE, or if this was Mario versus Kong UFC, I'm sure they have their own licenses that they get with each state and everything with all of that.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Right.
But that's why I wanted to bring it back from, a little bit more of a spectator fight to sparring.
Yeah.
Just straight out sparring.
Right.
And if I decide, I've had a personal trainer before who put a set of gloves on me and had me punch pads, not punch him in the face, but punch pads. That was in my house. That's not illegal. But I am punching, so there is that aspect to it. So yeah.
Let's come back to that.
Okay.
I think we're going to have to do Fight Club sooner than later.
Maybe.
Mostly because I want your reaction.
All right.
Because Doug will text me during a movie sometimes. And depending on the movie, I'm like waiting for that. Like, I know exactly, all you have to go is like, oh my God. And I'm like, I know exactly where you are in the movie. So I want to see your reaction. But let's move into the final battle in Brooklyn.
Yes.
We've talked about property destruction on this show.
Yeah.
We have a whole Dougie Award for biggest property destruction. Wasn't expecting this one to be a contender for next year's property destruction.
But it kind of is. And I even watching it over again, because I watched it, I went and saw this in the theater.
Yeah.
So I've seen this movie a few times now, and even watching it again before the show, like it's way more than you expect.
Way more. Like, I'm not gonna say Man of Steel, but like we're in the same ballpark,
in the same universe.
Yeah.
We're definitely, the fact that yeah.
So I guess this would apply to Man of Steel. It actually would apply to almost all of them. I'm thinking now, but since we're on this episode. Okay, I'm a shop owner in Brooklyn. Everything I have is destroyed in this. But the person responsible is like not of this earth, so I don't even know if there's any jurisdiction. Is my only option left to like sue Brooklyn? But even if I sue the city, it's like, well, how on earth would they prepare for something that no one knew existed?
Yeah, it kind of falls into the act of God terrorism level of exceptions to liability. What's interesting is if we start digging into it, is there a character we can blame for it? Could we hold Bowser liable for him coming in and destroying my shop in Brooklyn? Absolutely. So we take him we sue him, right? Criminally prosecute him as well, of course. But let's just say I'm the shop owner, and I'm going to sue him for destroying my shop, and he needs to pay me, $10 million for replacing all of the inventory, rebuilding, loss of business, all of the different things that I've been damaged for that. And then we win, and then we get a judgment against him, and he has to pay us $10 million.
He's got like 2,000 coins. He doesn't have
and so
any money.
And so this is kind of, then we have the judgment, and then I have some attorney friends that are really aggressive collection attorneys who would start taking his stuff.
Yeah.
And so they would take his 2,000 coins and see if they can convert that into US dollars. I mean
even
if they're gold coins, you could potentially.
If they're gold,
Yeah.
you could. Good point. But it's like, okay, imagine like at that point you just have to start, repoing whatever his stuff is.
I'm gonna take his ship.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you?
Cart?
It would take probably years to evaluate all this. By that time, your shop is done. You can't afford to rebuild it. It's been 5 years, and they're still trying to figure it out. I assume at that point, is it even worth it? I mean, maybe.
Well, and that is a real world business decision that people have to make all the time.
Yeah.
Edison has been blamed for a lot of the fires that California has suffered through lately.
Yeah.
And it takes years and years and years and years for the homeowners, for the business owners, for the shop owners to recover. And that's from a company here with bank accounts here with assets here. So yeah, if you start dealing with somebody who's from another country or from a different dimension or who doesn't have US dollars at all, and you have to start taking their stuff. I do know people that I have good friends who are like, no, you know what? Your insurance policy isn't enough to cover the damage. You made the mistake of only having $100,000 worth of insurance. Right. This is a $10 million claim. You have a house. I'm going to put a lien on your house. You have a boat. I'm going to take your boat, And so I do know people who will do that.
All right, let's get to some fan questions.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
Okay. Mario and Luigi enter the Mushroom Kingdom through the pipes. We know that.
Yes.
Luigi falls into Bowser's neck of the woods. Is Luigi considered a political prisoner at that point, or is he trespassing?
He is a political prisoner. Well, as soon as they say you can't leave, then he's a political prisoner.
Okay.
Arguably, he could be trespassing. But also, there's the argument that he didn't have any control over where he was deposited, right? So,
sure, but he shouldn't have been in those pipes in the first place, right? If I cross over to North Korea and go, oops, I took a wrong turn, let me just get out of here, they're not going to let me leave.
No, and then at that point, you're a political prisoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Would Bowser's army qualify as a criminal organization under racketeering laws?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes. Except for the fact that he would argue that he's a sovereign nation. And so it is a evil sovereign nation with a standing army that just goes in and invades places. I mean, that's terrible.
But I got the
You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to take your standing army and go and invade places just
but nobody
because.
does that.
No.
Nobody does that.
Nobody would do that. There's rules against that. Nobody would do that.
I got the impression a lot of his minions, so to speak, even his advisor is under some level of duress.
Oh, for sure. They were all trembling and scared and everything else. But I mean, how many times have we seen that depicted in more realistic army footage? I mean,
sure.
Always, there's the kid that's losing his nerve and all that. So I mean,
I just thought of Vader choking out every single general he has,
Yeah, and Bowser's clearly doing the same.
Right. I like this one too. Would the Mushroom Kingdom be required to extradite Bowser if multiple kingdoms accused him of crimes?
Ooh, that's a good question. It depends on the agreements between the different kingdoms.
Yeah.
I mean, we have countries in the world that refuse to extradite anywhere because they don't trust the other countries to do the level of justice that they would require. There are definitely countries that won't extradite to anywhere that has a death penalty, for example, because they're morally opposed to that. So it would really depend on the on the laws of the Penguin Kingdom whether the Mushroom Kingdom decided that, they were okay with those barbaric little penguins having him. Can you just imagine the punishment? I mean, they just sit there just throwing snowballs at his face over and over again. Kind of like water torture or something.
All right, let's apply this specific question to the Donkey Kong Mario fight. If Mario uses power-up mushrooms to gain strength, would that be treated like performance-enhancing drugs?
It's fantastic. No, because it's fully authorized. So it's so these are props that are placed throughout this gladiator arena. Now, if he secretly took a super power-up mushroom before he got into the arena, then yeah, maybe that's the equivalent of performance-enhancing drugs. But he's walking around. I mean, he's going around the arena trying to punch, golden bricks so that he can get the power up.
They're there.
They're there intentionally. So no.
He's not
absolutely
walking
not
around with a needle in his butt cheek before it starts. Although that would be a very interesting twist in that story.
That would be the dark version of Mario. Performance enhancing drugs Mario.
That would be Mario Canseco, home run king. Could Princess Peach legally recruit civilians like Mario for a military conflict? Now, it just so happens in this film, Mario has his own agenda for going on this, but if Mario was just a guy living his life, could she pick him up and be like, all right, you're part of this now?
Probably couldn't conscript someone, and that's the process of taking a civilian and making them be in the army. Thankfully, we don't really have countries that are doing conscription right now, but there were definitely historically. There have been armies that have just said, hey, you with a broom over there, guess what? You're in the army now. Congratulations. I mean, it's even different than a draft, where they decide that a certain portion of the population. I mean, this is just recruiting people. I get the sense here, though, that it's not that level of involuntary scooping them up.
Sure, yeah.
So it's more empowering somebody that wants to help.
It happened so fast, but it just seemed like, wait, who are you? I'm a plumber. I'm trying to find my brother. All right, let's go.
Oh, you want to go there? Let's see if you can pass this level.
Level 6 of the Game Boy game. All right, last question. This could apply to this movie, Avengers, Man of Steel, anything with a huge third act where a lot of things get destroyed. If Brooklyn residents witnessed the final battle, could they sue for emotional distress or any sort of PTSD, which we see in other media, like Marvel specifically. Tony gets bad PTSD from the Battle of New York. But specifically, if I'm just a guy that was on the street when this happened and 6 months later I'm having panic attacks, I can't sleep, I can't perform at work because I'm just in a constant state of stress. Like, it goes back to a little bit of like, who could you even sue, assuming Bowser has any sort of we didn't even talk if he has diplomatic immunity,
Diplomatic immunity.
But is there a case there, or is it like, is the court just be like, I'm really sorry that happened to you, but no?
The very specific examples that you brought up about PTSD and using Tony Stark as an example, and you being a person in that universe that saw the Battle of New York or saw the Battle of Bowser, whatever we're going to call it. So I have two parts to the answer. The first is that as lawyers, even back in law school, when we first get introduced to this idea of intentional infliction of emotional distress, that's a cause of action.
Sure.
Negligent infliction of emotional distress is also a cause of action. But it's kind of this BS throw in that, okay, so you broke the contract, you assaulted a person, and you also hurt my feelings. That's kind of how the courts and most lawyers view it.
Sure.
That it's just kind of this catch-all throw in there. Arguably, when you start dealing with being able to establish emotional distress, when you start establishing PTSD and anxiety and those sorts of things, I think we live in a world now that is a little bit more sensitive to that. And we certainly see it in my criminal courts all the time. I am dealing with mental health and criminal court crossovers every single day at this point, every day. So my answer is a little bit different when we start thinking about it. So on the one hand, we have intentional infliction of emotional distress or negligent infliction of emotional distress is almost seen like a joke.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there would be some real significant consequences for the trauma caused by these battles. But, when we're looking at 9/11 as a real world example, we didn't really hear a lot of coverage or comments about the emotional distress caused by the entire city of New York, by the entire nation, arguably by the entire world to see such severe damage.
Yeah.
So could you? The answer is yes. The people that have the best chances of arguing for those things are going to be the people that actually had their shops destroyed or loved ones injured or things along those lines. Looking at Batman versus Superman that we'll be seeing, I mean the beginning of that movie is the battle of Superman and Zod as witnessed by Bruce Wayne.
Right.
So I mean that's another real world. Realer world than Mario. I know. But that's another character, at least, that experienced some significant, anxiety, stress, PTSD, watching the destruction of a city. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this develops.
Well, I wonder if it'll come up at all in the sequel, which is either out this weekend or 2 years ago, depending on when you watch this. I know. I think this one was a tough legal episode to do, only because this one is made so much for kids that it's kind of hard to find that anchor. This isn't Silence of the Lambs, where it's like we could point to real world cases that inspired that movie.
Yeah,
But
I was excited to do this episode, and I love that we've got Mario stuff everywhere. and Gabby, you did a great job on the Doug Mario, and we've got Doug Luigi behind me here. And go to our merch store. Why aren't you buying the merch? Buy the merch. I mean, you are buying the merch, but buy the merch.
Buy more merch.
Buy more merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got like 5 different designs of Doug and Billy as Mario and Luigi.
We have from every episode.
Every episode.
Merch for everything. Be the little merch maid.
Yeah, exactly. There's sales from time to time on our TeePublic merch store.
And if you want more of this show, you are in the right spot, because all of our past episodes are right here on the YouTube channel and also wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Podcast Emporium probably is one. I don't know.
Probably.
I'm going to stop teasing the next week's episode because I've been wrong 3 times in a row.
You've been wrong a few times, but that's okay.
I mean, it is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one that we said we were going to do last time, but ended up doing Mario's, we're for sure doing that next time. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care. Batman v Superman. We're just going to do it.
Yeah.
We're doing it next time.
Yeah.
I'm holding myself to it now by saying it out loud.
Okay. We're holding ourselves accountable.
There we go.
Yes. Like the Plumber Brothers we are.
It's us, Doug and Billy. And now we've just offended people on the way out. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, thank you for making it this far. We will see you guys next week. I swear it's Batman v Superman.
There's gotta be a way out of here.
There's no escape. The only hope is the sweet relief of death.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me!